Yo, what up? It's Luther, and today I want to talk with you about a concept that will help you achieve your personal goals, improve your finances, and change your self image. It's like knocking down three birds with one stone. Really, what I want to talk about with you is the importance of focusing on action and letting go of needing to seek new information. What this concept is going to do for you is going to show you how less is more, how in less time, with less effort, with applying yourself with less energy that you're given through your day, you are able to achieve so much more simply because you apply a different concept. I'm calling this concept low charge versus high charge. What it means when you're a low charge person is that when you have a goal, when you say something, when you speak something out, and you want yourself to obey your own commands in order to achieve that goal, you cannot get your body to animate to do those things. So, as an example, you have a difficult time waking up at the same time every single morning. You just cannot get yourself out of bed in order to attack the day. This is someone that has a low charge. Mentally, you know what you want to go after, but physically, there is something that is stopping you. And you see, what happens is when you are someone with a low charge, you develop a pattern of not being able to believe what you say to yourself. And this will show up in all areas of your life. Depending if you're going after a goal, you're trying to build a relationship. When you speak something into existence, you want to change who you are. There is a part of yourself that doesn't believe that you are capable of actually making that change. And because you can't believe that you can make that change, doesn't happen. And it creates this persona that you believe of yourself that you're not able to make that step forward, all because you're building a track record of not being able to follow through with what you said you were going to do. And what this manifests itself into looking like is when you set yourself a goal, even if you try to apply yourself, even if you're putting the energy towards achieving this goal, there is some kind of magical force that stops you from achieving. And it all lays in your self image. It all lies in how you bring yourself forward. It is the aura of who you are. When you can change your vibe, it changes the results that you get simply because you become a different person. And that lays in the charge, the mental image that you have of yourself. When you can change your charge from being low charge to high charge, that is when all of the results, no matter what area in life you're going after, start to change. I remember there was a time I wanted to get better at my art, like literally with drawing art. I would apply hours in a single day towards learning how to draw the human body. And even though I would apply myself towards art, because I had a mental image that I wasn't someone that was able to achieve something great to get to a certain level, there was nothing that came out of all of those practice hours. But the moment that I shifted or started to make that shift of changing the amount of charge that I have, the intention, my self image towards my craft, it started to change the results that I got. There was opportunities for learning that were before invisible to me that now became glaringly obvious simply because the self image that I had of myself began to change, right? Because when you are in a low charge state, when your self image of yourself is rooted in the negative, opportunities and the ability to learn, which is one of the most important abilities there are out there, no matter where you are, your ability to learn new things is going to be one of your greatest assets. And you're not going to be able to learn or see these opportunities in front of you if your self image is placed in that negative, placed in this low charge, where mentally you want something, but you cannot trust yourself to go and act through those wants. Your actions aren't being conducive with the wants that you want. There is a misalignment there. We have to realign this. When you realign this, and it's like an electric pulse that goes through you, it creates that high charge. Now, when you say you're going to do something, you have this feeling in you that you will do it. It is similar to when you're going to do a high jump into some water off of the diving board. You know deep down inside of you when you're going to do it. You know when you say, okay, I'm going to jump, you know that's you're psyching yourself out. You know you're not going to do that jump. The same way that you know exactly when the I'm going to jump is the one, in that same way, you know deep down inside of you if you're going to be able to listen to your own word. And when you can get to a place where that I'm going to do it is strong and you're rooted in 100% trust in your own word, that is when that high charge starts to come online inside of you. So let's talk about how do you get from a place of being in low charge to a place where you're in high charge, where whatever you say, you can trust in yourself to be able to do. Now, I'm sure you can attest you've had those moments where you are full of motivation. There is a feeling that you feel like you could accomplish anything you really set your mind to. You are filled with this different level of energy. What if you could take that and apply it or use that kind of energy every single day? And you often hear that that's impossible, that you're not able to use motivation. You have to rely on discipline. And it's true that that level, that kind of texture of motivation is not going to always be there. But there is a almost like a fragrance of that motivation that is available to you at all times. It comes through getting in that mood. The same way that, as a guy, you see a beautiful woman, you can get that horny feeling inside of you. In that same way, by creating a mood board, by creating an environment around you, you can consistently get into that state where you are determined to go after what you said you were going to go after. Your environment dictates a big portion of how you lived your life. The thoughts that happen in your mind are a byproduct of what you're putting into your environment. So let's say you're feeling your life, your desk is a mess. You're listening to the wrong music. You're constantly binge watching shows or videos on YouTube that aren't helping you at all. And then you wonder why. And on the back end, you have to fight with yourself to stay motivated and disciplined towards a certain craft. Whereas your environment is fighting against you. If you're able to shift your environment, mood board, your life basically, where you have a set of images, a layer of text that you can read every single time you get into that state where you're not sure what the next step is, when you're feeling like you're not able to learn, when you're feeling in that low charge state, and you can get yourself reactivated into that mood the same way you do when you see a beautiful woman. You look at those images, you look at that text, you read something that reinvigorates you with a high charge, and you do that consistently, it starts to be your default state, especially if you're doing it in a similar environment. Let's say you have a messy desk, you clean that desk up, you have certain images and text in front of you for whenever that low charge moment comes, because it will come, but because you're prepared for it, you're ready to battle that charge and reactivate yourself to a high charge. It won't be able to take over you and dictate where you're going. When you have that setting of cleanliness, of organization, of a direction you're going, and you come back to it every single day, it starts to build this familiarity inside of your mind. We hear often that we are creatures of familiarity. Even if we are living in suffering, if that suffering is familiar to us, we won't want to leave it because we know what is safe. We can use this to our advantage. If we are able to create a familiar environment of productivity, our minds will go back to that place. And it's usually the beginning stages that are the most difficult. It takes the most conscious effort, the most physical effort to create that environment and get the ball rolling. But once that ball is rolling, your mind will naturally want to go back to what is familiar once you've created productivity as your familiar zone. We can use our own genetics as a way to help us. It stops being a bug and it becomes a feature. One of the common problems you might face when you enter that state of high charge is diversifying your focus into all these different areas. But this secretly lowers your charge back to that low charge, because to stay in this high charge state, to stay in a place of momentum, you need to be proving to yourself that you have what it takes in order to achieve goals. Whatever those goals are, when you set those mini goals and you start achieving them, you are building evidence for yourself and building confidence towards your ability to do what you said you were going to do, regardless of whatever your circumstances are. Because of this will to act, this will of acting that you put forward, you are now able to achieve things in the physical world. This builds momentum, it builds confidence, it allows you to stay in that state of high charge. But when you are diversifying yourself so thin into so many different places, you're able to achieve anything at any point of time. And now, after applying yourself so much, you've achieved nothing. You go back to this low charge state. You go back even further than low charge state because you see that I did apply myself and yet nothing changed, nothing happened. So therefore, it's hopeless. There's something just wrong with me. And I'm sure many of you might have been there before, where you have applied yourself to something and it didn't work out. Maybe it's because you diversified yourself too much. You were not focusing on taking the specific actions. Let's say you're wanting to build more income inside of your business. Instead of trying to focus on the perfect daily morning routine and applying your energy towards this daily morning routine, apply your energy to something very specific. Like, what is the one specific area in your business that is going to need your attention and effort? And if you just increase that one area, got more efficient, better in that area, your business would increase. This is the difference between staying in that momentum high charge and falling back into the low charge, is applying it with precision in a specific area. When you diversify, it's very much wanting to fall back into that energy of low charge. And the only reason we fall back into the low charge energy is because it's where we've been familiar for the most of our lives. If we create the familiar in that high charge state, we'll naturally rise to that state because it will become our new familiar. But it takes a moment. It takes a couple of months of staying consistent at that new temperature, at that high charge state, for it to become our familiar state, to become our new standard, where we fall back onto naturally. Right now, whatever state you are in, wherever you are in life, you will fall back onto naturally if you try to push and you don't push hard enough. If you don't set up the circumstances for you to succeed, this is exactly where you will fall back onto because you're familiar with where you currently at. That step from here to here is going to take a certain amount of energy, and you can stack the cards in your favor, changing your environment, changing what you are listening to, mood boarding your life so that when those moments of feeling of lack, like you don't want to go forward, like there is distraction in front of you, when those feelings do come up and you have that mood board, you have those texts, those images that push you forward. These are all cards that you can stack in your favor that keep your energy pushing forward, that keep that momentum going up where you can reach that new level. And once you're coasting at that new familiar level, it is no longer needing to be this hard grind. You do not have to live the rest of your life having to grind out. There's different types of success for different people. For one person, success might be making millions of dollars every year. For the other person, it might be just an extra $20,000 a month. If you can reach that extra $20,000 a month, you don't have to grind every single day in order to reach that $1 million every single month. But to get to that stage, you have to exert a certain amount of conscious energy. And it's only the beginning that's the hardest. As you go along, it becomes easier and easier. Just like getting the ball rolling, getting a boulder moving on a flat surface, it is the beginning push that is the most difficult. Once you get past that, it starts to pick up with the momentum. And the momentum lays in the small things. How you wake up, how you do your bed, how you get your clothes on, how you go to the gym, how you eat your food. Are you doing all of these things with a certain level of intention? That intention brings itself towards the next thing and the next act. The moment that you stop trying to find more information on how to do the thing and you simply do the thing, you will be given the power. Do the hard thing, you will be given the power. It is this simple concept that will change everything if you can follow it properly, instead of looking for problems that don't yet exist and simply tackle the one that is right in front of you. What is it that you have to achieve? What is it that you're going after, and what is standing in your way right now? You know that answer inside of you. There's usually 2 or 3 answers, and it's usually 1 or 2 of those that are the wrong ones, and it's the one that is the right one that's hidden underneath those, because we want to go back to the familiar, and those 2 decoy answers are there to keep us in the familiar. Oh, I should fix my morning routine. I don't have this right supplement yet, so I shouldn't go to the gym yet. Cut those answers out. You know exactly what it is you have to do. You want to build the body? Just go to the gym. That is the very first thing you have to do. You can worry about the other things later, but get the actions doing. Do the thing and you will have the power. I hope this was helpful for you guys, and I will see you guys in the next one.